Hello and welcome back to the second part of our Excel video series. Today we're going to look at creating a new sheet within Excel, copy and pasting links, adding or deleting rows and columns, and doing a repeated calculation. So in order to add a new sheet, we're going to come down here to the bottom and we're going to click on this little piece of paper right here. Once I do that, it's going to add a new sheet. Now, I'm going to want to add a new sheet because I want to look at, let's say, a composite score. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to link all of these scores on each of the individual tabs and put them on my sheet 3. Now, the reason I want to link them is, let's say I made a mistake on Tiffany's score here. Maybe she didn't get a 26, she got a 25. Instead of having to change it on every individual sheet, all I have to do is change it right here in the original one, and it will automatically update on anything that I link to that sheet. And I'll show you how that works here in just a second. So if I come over here to sheet 3, I'm going to right click. Oops, I have to copy first. So we're going to highlight, copy, go to sheet 3, right click, and I'm going to come down here to paste special. Now paste special gives me extra features. And what I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to come down here to this paste link. By clicking that, now what you'll see is when I go in here and I click on a score, see how it says math and D2 up here? What that means is that cell is linked to the math and the D2 cell right here. So even if I come into sheet 3 and I were to reorganize this, maybe I want to sort smallest to largest, everything's going to be still tied to that math sheet. Now I'm going to do the same thing for the science, English, and writing. So for the science data, I'm going to highlight it, copy it, go to sheet 3, go down to paste special, and link it. I will fix the formatting here in a little bit. It is going to be easier to do once I've got it all of my data in there. And my writing, copy, and paste special. Okay, and the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here and I'm going to rename this and call this my composite score. Remember, we right click and do the rename. Now that I have all my data in here, I'm going to format. If I highlight this row here, I'm going to come up, center align everything, and I'm going to bold it by hitting Control B. Then I'm going to go and I want to center all of my data. Now I've highlighted this row, and if I hit the Control button and keep holding it down and I highlight all of my other data, I can do a center align on all of this. So I want to center align, and I see that I have decimals down here. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of those. Which is not going to let me. So let's do this on an individual basis. I'm going to go ahead and adjust the widths. Now, if you go and you highlight all of these columns and just double click on one of the edges, it will automatically adjust everything at the same time. I'm going to highlight, put my border in it, and then I'm going to come down here to my calculations. Just to keep it separated, I am going to put a thicker border around it, and I'm going to highlight it. Remember, I can either highlight it yellow from in here, or maybe I'll come over here and select this. And if you click the down arrow, there's several different colors that you could highlight if you'd like. And then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and I'm going to put in a calculation row, and I'm going to color this. We'll say purple. I'm going to put borders around all of it, but I am going to put a bold border around this as well. And now I'm going to click Composite, and I want to do a formula. My formula is going to say, so in order to do a composite, let's say we're going to start out with an equal sign, and let's say we want to add up all the scores and divide it by 4. So if I take this one, add it to this, hit plus, add it to this score, hit plus, and add it to this score, I'm going to put parentheses around it. And notice each cell has a different color and it corresponds to the equation here. And then I'm going to hit the divide by and 4 and hit enter. Okay, I want to format it so that it's center aligned, and I want to get rid of that decimal place. And now, because I want to do the same calculation in every cell down below, I'm going to click on it, hit Control C or copy, and then I can go ahead and hit paste or Control V all the way down, and it will link that formula. And one last thing we're going to do, I see that I have a repeated name for everybody, so I want to go in and delete everything except for this first column out. So I'm going to go and click on the column at the top, and I'm going to do that for each one that I want to delete. And remember, I'm going to hit Control as I select each additional column, and then you're going to go into one of the highlighted columns, hit right click, and delete. Now what this delete is going to do is it's actually going to wipe those columns out. If you were to use the delete button on your keyboard, it would just delete the text, but the columns would still be there. So I'm going to hit delete, and you'll see that all of the additional names have come out. My formula is still the same. So if I click in here and here, you'll see I'm still adding these up, dividing by 4. Now instead of adding individually, I could have used the sum. Okay, but there's many different ways, or many ways that you can do the same thing. And then let's say we decided we wanted to go back in and add a column for last names. So I'm going to click on the column. When you go and do an insert, it's going to insert the column before the one you highlight. So I'm going to click on D. I'm going to right click, go down to insert, and it's going to click in a new column. So then maybe I could do last name. And again, if I want to adjust that width, all I have to do now is go in and enter all that data, which in this case I'm not going to do. So I'm going to go in, highlight it, and delete it out, and I'm right back where I was. And that will conclude our second video.